Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 50 of the Realm Recap. I'm Jayson from Yakface.com, joined, as always, by Flyguy from Flyguy.net.
Yeah, 50. It's kind of close to
Yeah.
my age too. Never mind. Yeah, so 50 episodes, nearly a year's worth of the Realm recap. That's pretty astonishing, but it's
Yeah,
good fun. All good fun.
stuff.
It doesn't slow down even because we're no, that's 80, because we're whatever 50 years old. So plenty to go.
Very good. This week, there was a bit of news that came out, surprisingly, which seems odd to say, around Hasbro, with actual product hitting stores and um, clarifications on some details on Bossk and
Yep.
some other good stuff revolving around customs and just a whole bunch of different products
Yeah.
had been talked
I really
about
like
this week.
that.
But we'll start things out this week with Hasbro as we always do. Um, Big news at Target is that the Mission Series Wave 2 has started to hit retail.
Yeah, Sabina
Uh,
Storm. I haven't seen any of these myself, but
I haven't either,
yep.
which kind of drives me crazy. But Adam Paulus was the first person that I had seen report that Mission Series Wave 2, which includes like Sabine, Stormtrooper, the Wookiee 2-pack,
Hmm.
um, figures like that, had started hitting Target shelves. And then after his post earlier this week, I he lives in the Phoenix, Arizona area, and I saw reports started popping up from the Midwest, from the East Coast, West Coast. So it seems to be geared around Target right now,
Mm.
but it's across the country, which is a nice thing to see.
Yep,
And
definitely.
from a lot of the reports that I've been reading and hearing about too, and being sent in, is that Target is still doing that splitting of cases deal where
Mm.
they're getting cases at distribution centers and then breaking those open to distribute amongst
Stores.
stores and not just sending full cases to one
Yep.
particular store. That's
I mean, I don't know about you, but again, you often see these stories around, and people, see they found something, and it's, in a huge country. I must have seen, I don't know, 10 targets in the last couple of weeks, just traveling around and having to bump into stuff, and there's nothing on the peg. So
I know
I don't know where these people are finding them, but someone's found someone. So
it's been a wasteland.
yeah,
Target, that it's not just Hasbro product either. I've noticed.
sure,
I I go up and down the aisles. It's like Hasbro stuff is really light. Mattel stuff is really light, like with the wrestling figures.
that's true.
Um, you know, Going back to Hasbro, Transformer stuff seems to be pretty picked through. So
They're
it's
very selective, I think, in what they're getting in, and as you just said, quantities. They're even splitting up quantities at headquarters to evenly, well, not evenly, just spread them out, which is kind of alarming, I think, in terms of just you get to see how little stores are getting these days. So,
yeah,
no good.
but yeah, uh, people are sending in, and we've posted a couple different reports online of the Biker Scout with the Wicket Mission Series pack hitting. Um,
It's a great little pack.
yeah,
Very
um,
good.
Shikatra Vizago along with the RM or the IG-88 RG was it RGRM droid.
Yeah, the Ralph McQuarrie one.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right.
so
Wow.
it's pretty cool. I mean,
Awesome.
at least it's something. I've one of my targets that I visit on the way to work. Almost every morning. They managed to put out. They haven't had like the Saga Legends Rebels line for weeks now.
Hmm.
There was one Kanan on the peg a couple days ago, um, which of course I skipped because I don't need another
Go three,
Kanan. But yeah,
probably. But
but it's something.
yep, stores are definitely a whole lot quieter, and it's changing times. It really is. It's
Yep.
very different.
Other Hasbro news this week. Moving on to some of the 6-inch stuff. Um, I reported a couple weeks back that the 6-inch Bossk that is coming from Hasbro in the Black Series. It was said, I thought I had confirmed that it did not have an articulated jaw. This was being sold on eBay by the seller Viber Kingdom, and I exchanged a few emails back and forth with him regarding that, and I asked him, does the mouth open? And he clearly said in his email, no, the mouth does not open. And then all of a sudden, there's people that have received it who have bought from him, and they received it, and sure enough, it actually does open. So, shared a couple pictures online. These were shared via I can't remember his last name. His first name was Colin, I think.
Colin Hobbs.
Yep, Colin Hobbs. He shared some images that clearly show the articulated jaw for that, and he posted some great pictures over in the 6-inch Black Series,
and it's a
group on Facebook.
Really good-looking Bossk. I think it looks fantastic. Look at that jaw.
Yeah.
And the big tongue there. I mean, that's just phenomenal. This is 6 inches. It's really, really good. Not so good in the paintwork. They're a little splotchy, but that's a great-looking figure. And I think the first I can recall of, and definitely the 6-inch scale, it has an articulated jaw. I mean, that's quite a feature. So. Yeah,
and I think some apologies maybe in order for towards Hasbro, where as soon as I guess I would say I reported that our jaw wasn't articulated, people just piled on saying, "Oh, Hasbro sucks." They're cutting corners.
Sure.
Whatnot.
I mean, that's inevitable. Everybody wants to.
Yeah, but they clearly intended for this to have the articulated jaw. So
yeah. Well, I think as you'd showed before, I mean, we saw that seam. You got the photograph. We looked at the back of the seam of the head. I don't know how many, particularly DC collectibles figures I've had in the past, where you actually have joints you cannot move, and if you move them, they snap. Yep. So it could well be that Viper's Kingdom may not be the toy geek nerd like we are, and maybe would have played around, but just looked at it and tried, and so.
Yeah, it could have easily been a frozen joint. I've run into that with Sideshow with some of the battle droids, where
you don't want to turn the limbs.
Yeah, those are really frail type figures anyway, and if the joints are frozen, you could snap. I mean, I've snapped a few, off at the elbow, the fingers, whatnot. So it's not out of the realm of possibility for that to kind of happen. And if you don't want to force it, then you're just going to say, well, it doesn't move. So.
And even just that little, if we go back to sharing that on screen, if you're watching the video version, that's almost pulling the jaw apart there, and that's it closed. See that little crack at the back?
Yep.
So it's actually splitting the joint away. So it's articulated, but there's obviously some pressure being put there on that jaw that Colin Hobbs has shared in his pictures. But look, mistakes happen. But look, we're getting him, and he's awesome. That's the key thing. So. And he's in demand.
Yep, Bossk can have a nice prominent, display in your 6-inch shelf. But speaking of that, DorksideToys has now offered up a new pre-order where if you don't want to have to deal with the carry-forward figures from the previous wave, which included the TIE Pilot and Chewbacca from the wave prior to that even, you can now buy these as a 2-pack. Well, you could.
Well, you could.
You could just buy just the Han Solo and the Stormtrooper disguise along with Bossk for an awesome price of $41.99, I believe it was.
That's right, and it was an incredible deal, and it went like friggin' hotcakes. So clearly, a lot of people, there's a huge portion of people don't care and they want case packs too. But a lot of the singles have gone, so there's still some Han Solos. But if you really want to still get it, I still think I want a second Chewie. I really do. I do not mind having another TIE Pilot at all. That's my personal opinion. But for those that were fast, they could cherry pick whether they wanted singles or the 2-pack. But they're pretty much sold out. So If you want to get the case pack, you can still get it for still a pretty good price at $20 each. A figure shipped free in the US. That's still good, and lots of other assortments and mixes of ties and chewy and whatever you want. So,
Yeah, I like that. I like that 4-pack out of the TIE Pilot. That's a cool one.
It's Army Builder, man.
Yep.
Get out there, people, if you want it. So yeah.
Let's see what else.
Also,
regarding the 6-inch line, Target has now taken the initiative to mark down the deluxe assortment of figures at their stores and online. You could now pick up the speeder bike with Biker Scout or Jabba for only $24.99 in store or online.
That's a phenomenal price.
Yeah, I mean it's surprising because they started out at $39.99, then they marked them down just recently to like $34.99, something like that on shelves, and now they just took another $10 off this week, and that's a great savings.
I feel the international pangs and pains of experience again because that is still pretty much, I think, of course, the UK and Australia, for example, just two countries I know of, where that is still costing about $65, $70.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a phenomenal price. That's a really good price. So and we've had other retailers sell it at lower prices as well, online, Walmart and
Amazon
and a few others. Amazon, and they've all had a crack at this thing. But I think a lot of people have got it now. But it's
I don't know if a lot of stores, actual brick and mortar and online, are sitting on a lot of this product right now, and they're just looking to kind of clear out some inventory before the next wave of this assortment comes out, and then it'll bump back up to the $40.
The $40, yeah.
Because it's kind of funny because it's the Han with Tauntaun in the next assortment, and then the carry forward of the Scout Trooper with speeder bike. So,
Yeah. If you want to get it at the cheap price, not the $40 price,
right?
That would be smart. So, no, it's kind of ironic.
Speaking of spending some crazy money on product, there was a report earlier this week. I think it was announced a couple weeks ago that there was this online auction going up in the UK for some old, rare, carded Star Wars merchandise.
But it was really nice.
There was, particularly the one of interest was a carded Palitoy Boba Fett on the Return of the Jedi card that sold for, 18,000 pounds or something like that.
18,000 pounds. That's right. It was on an Empire card, and what's even more sickening, Jason, is I had this very figure, and I had it in the card. But years and years ago I sold it. But yeah, beautiful figure. 18,000. That's about $36,000, I think, something like that.
Yeah, it's like in the 20s, at least.
And GBP to US dollars. A quick check. And what are we getting there? $27,100 for an Empire Palitoy version. Yeah, a lot of people don't know what Palitoy is, but it was the UK version of Kenner, basically. But
right.
Yeah, that's quite a the guy said Stevens from Croydon said he was amazed at the price it sold for. Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
that's wow. It's not even in a graded case. It's just as a star case.
Star case, but it's an uncirculated figure as far as it's unpunched. It's in a great condition. He sold a bunch of other stuff. He sold I think it was close to 100 pieces that went for almost $100,000, something like that.
Jeez.
But it's crazy to think that something that you're hanging on to, you've been hanging on to for nearly 40 years like that, goes for 20 grand. It's crazy.
That's it. When I die, those Angry Birds are just going to be worth so much money, man. They're going to be a fortune.
Yeah.
So maybe not.
It was funny because what was it? The morning that thing sold, my dad had sent me a text, something like, did you see how much that Boba Fett sold for? I'm like, and I hadn't yet. It was like 6 o'clock in the morning. I was barely up yet, and I searched it out or whatever, and I looked it up. I'm like, wow, that's pretty impressive. And then he texted me back, yeah, I've got two of them hiding in the house somewhere. He's like, obviously giving me crap about it, but it was
Nice.
kind of a funny.
So you still got two of them sitting up at your dad's house?
No, he was.
Oh, okay.
He was
Okay,
giving
sorry.
me saying.
I missed the joke.
Yeah.
Never mind, never mind. So yeah, it just shows you what you've got. If you got it in your collection, people are still digging these things out of the woodwork even after all these years, unpunched. So, but interesting stuff.
Let's see what else here. Bringing things back down to earth a little bit. You had shared this one on your page.
I may be wrong. I believe this is brand new.
It is, because I have this is the Jedi Force AT-AT that includes the AT-AT driver, but this one, the one that you're sharing, is motorized.
It is, and I'll just see if we can get a bigger picture there for you. So I spotted this at a Toys R Us here locally. Yeah, it does. It has some kind of walking kind of capability. I don't know, but
yeah, because I have the regular one that included the driver, but mine doesn't walk, and I've never seen this before.
Neither have I. I just thought, is this new? I thought, what the hell's going on here? So I just thought the cutest little AT-AT, the size of it is just gorgeous. It's just something about it.
Yeah.
I always wanted the little ATST walker in the Playforce kind of Play School scale and size, but yeah, it's a cool little figure and a nice little AT-AT driver there as well. So yeah, it's $40 at Toys R Us. That's where I'd seen it, but it's often in the kind of forgotten aisles of younger kids' toys.
Yeah, it's not with the regular. It's not with the regular Star Wars stuff. You kind of have to move on to the, the Babies R Us side almost.
Yeah. Exactly.
You were speaking of that ATST. I think that was was that an exclusive set at like Kohl's or something like that here in the U.S. Something like that. I remember.
It came with a lot of figures and was quite a bulky set from memory.
Yeah.
But just cool looking little, something about that kind of chibi style, that kind of funky style. But
right.
But yeah, can't collect anymore. I've got enough. So.
Let's see. With a quick mention of Sideshow this week, they didn't really have any real announcements, but I did receive several emails this week from them about processing pre-orders. If people are collecting the 6th scale line, I received emails regarding the R2D2, which is the the deluxe version, the Bomb Squad Clone Trooper, which is from the Clone Wars series. It's like it's got the orange highlights and includes the little bomb packs and whatnot. And the Hoth Han Solo is going to be processing here soon. They offer the caveat in the email saying that it could still be 5 to 7 weeks for processing for these, just because of the whole shipping issue on the West Coast. But I think before too long they'll be on the way to people that have put those up for pre-order. So
yep,
they're just sending out information or sending out notification that they hope to get those out there soon. Let's see. Anovos again this week had announcement that they offered up the AT-AT driver, which we just spoke about, up for pre-order, which is the full costume ensemble for $1,600, which is I think is pretty reasonable.
I think so too. Again, we talked about the kind of breakdown of costs, and by the time you buy the materials and do all this, the time and the money alone is a huge factor. But I love all the parts for this, the little Arabesh bits and pieces, and
yeah, the back of the deal is very intricate.
It is. Little sucker. I can't even remember seeing that before. So, but very well done, very detailed. The absolute accuracy is just gorgeous. Again, we talked about this before. I'm almost tempted in some ways, if I had the money, to just buy these as the helmets alone as a bit of a collection.
Yeah.
To finish off the ones that sometimes over the years Master Replicas never get round to, or EFX haven't done yet. It seems to be a more cost-effective way than EFX, unfortunately. But great-looking gear. Anovos yet again are really becoming, I think, one of the best Star Wars vendors out there. Great looking
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, and if you were, again, this is at the $1,600 price point right now, but if you were able to get in, just a few days ago before the cutoff, you were able to pick it up for $1,200.
That's a bargain.
Yeah.
That's a
So,
bargain.
yeah, it's at that $1,600 price range now. Um, let's see, what does it say?
1600.
Yeah, 1,600 looks like the top
Yeah.
price.
Well, the thing is, I mean, that I've sold and bought many, I don't know, even Master Replicas helmets before, and some of them can go, like Boba Fett Stormtrooper ones, can easily fetch $750, $800.
Right.
So, yeah, there's some good value to be had by Anovos, so well done, guys and gals.
Let's see. Funko announced that they were going to have an exclusive version being sold through the site. Oh, what was it? Yep, Toy Wars. It's a exclusive, not holographic, but glow-in-the-dark holographic Emperor Palpatine.
That's right.
It's available right now for order. It went up for sale officially yesterday. Limit 2 per household. Ships, in a couple weeks. $15 if you're a completist in the Pop bobblehead line. This is one that you might want.
Yeah. Something I just learned recently, I didn't realize, and a colleague just mentioned to me that the Star Wars and Marvel lines are all bobbleheads for a reason. Licensing.
Yep.
Because of Hasbro, so it didn't quite click onto that, so that's why the other ones, other licensees are not. But interesting.
Yeah, because they have the Pop bobbleheads, and then there's the Pop vinyl ones that don't have the bases.
That's right. That's true. So
as long as they keep the bobblehead portion, they can do kind of whatever they.
That's right. They can get away with it
in that scale. So
very interesting. So more Pop.
Pop. There was another one that was kind of brought back. Kind of like how Disney does with their DVD movie releases of certain classics. They brought one back out of the vault per se, and that's the Jedi Luke.
And there's going to be a lot more as the build-up comes towards The Force Awakens, and there's going to be some key ones, but these are limited in terms of the packaging's brand new, and Funko have and will stop all distribution in a matter of weeks. So if you're a vendor and you've literally not ordered these, we won't be able to get any more after a certain period of time. So they will be limited if you want to pick them up. And yeah, I actually quite like him. He's kind of cool. So I'd never seen some of these before, but they're old stuff coming back out of the woodwork. So if you're a Pop fan, now's a good time for Star Wars.
Yeah, it's hard to believe how many actual different Pop figures there are. I mean, not just in total for all the licenses they carry, but just Star Wars. They're just dozens and dozens of different ones. I've got a hand, 3 or 4 maybe, given as gifts. Nothing I've really ever sought out, but yeah, they're still pretty good. Whatnot.
Interrogating time.
That's right. Hot Toys this week, they revealed their images of the interrogator droid, that is included with the Darth Vader A New Hope 6 scale figure that's coming out. They just showed it in silhouette when they first announced that Vader figure, because the details weren't finalized. But looks like they did nail down the details, and Hot Toys released some images of that, and it looks, obviously spot on.
Definitely. It's I'm just trying to see, looking at a larger pic that we can have a look there. Is this an egg beater? Is this forceps? What is going on here? I never noticed that before.
That is... I'm trying to think what it's actually called. It's a medical tool for delivering a baby.
That's what I thought. Exactly. Yeah. So Dr.
Like the salad tongs is what I've always called them,
So he scoots around the Death Star, injecting people and delivering babies and beating some eggs and delivering good salads. So it's a cool looking little piece, almost like kind of Walt Disney like, with the little almost ears going on there, but
yeah,
little Mickey kind of almost look like, but which is weird. But yeah, nice little add-on to your Darth Vader. So good old.
Yeah, it comes with a cool base, and they displayed it alongside in a couple different images there with Vader, and it's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
Vader is looking fantastic. It really is. Yeah, another one to the wish list. So,
No kidding.
no.
Again, something not quite as expensive, but delicious. Um, Kraft has
Cool they do.
apparently issued some Star Wars mac and cheese. We're big mac and cheese eaters here with 4 kids. So I noticed these the other day. Um, Justin actually from our site posted this in the forums. There's some different boxes available. There's Darth Vader, C-3PO, R2-D2, and there's a Yoda box that's not shown in here, but I did manage to see that earlier this week. But also, some of the little macaroni cheese cups. There are different ones. So, and individual cups. These are, if you're looking at the video version, there's like a 4-pack that you can pick up, but they also offer them in individual little pods, bowls, whatever, and those have a couple different graphics on them as well. But what's interesting, there are 8 different boxes to collect, even though there's only 4 characters, because when you flip them around, let's see.
Is there more images there than I can see, or?
Well, no, they split each character's face in half.
Mm-hmm.
So you get half of Vader's
I see.
on one box and half of Vader box on the other. I posted a bunch of these on my Instagram and Twitter the other day. If you feel like it, you could follow me on both of those social media channels, but I will share it quick once I can find my page.
On your Yakface?
Yep. Here we go. Did you find it, or I could show mine real quick?
Yeah, go for it. You go.
Okay. Screen share.
Oh, I see the split down the middle. Yeah,
so yeah, there's the Vader box here. I'll bump that up here quick.
That's quite a big print.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Great Hungry.
Since Great Hungry You, R2-D2's is kind of lame. It's like beep boop. It's cheesy. And then there's Most Cheesy It Is by Yoda, and there's a C-3PO box or set like this, but I don't know if it was short packed or if it was sold through or not, because I could only find half of the box. I couldn't find the other half. So.
Very cool.
And then, yeah, I didn't take individual images of the individual sets, but.
Very cool.
Check out your foodie aisle, and you can pick up some Star Wars stuff there if you're interested. And inside the box or whatever container you happen to buy, there are 5 different shapes.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, there's like a Vader, R2, X-Wing, Yoda, and a C-3PO. So, kind of fun.
Sounds good.
Let's see. Yesterday, I believe it was, the eaches for the Vinylmation line were released at Disney stores in both California and Florida. These have the Yoda design, which there are only 2,500 pieces produced, but of those 2,500, 250 of them are the Spirit, translucent blue ghost design.
Wow.
So essentially it's 1 in 10 you could buy that will have that. So
that's an expensive way to guesstimate a figure.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. So you'll be onto eBay or Kevin.
Yep, Kevin's going to try to hook me up. I've got a standing order in with him for these Vinylmation figures, so
nice.
We'll get to that later in the new acquisitions for the week.
Okay.
Let's see. But yeah, that went up yesterday. I don't think they're going to be offered online like some of the other Vinylmation figures are. But I think a couple weeks back there was a Luke set that came out. It was like Farm Boy Luke. And then there was a variant that included him with the blast shield helmet, which was the chase. So,
okay,
I have that coming. Let's see, what else for this week? We had talked about, I think even just last week, was that the what is that? D'Agostini or
That's
whatever it's
right.
called,
Yeah. No, that's
was
right.
being offered in the UK or at least overseas to it's a subscription service to build that Millennium Falcon
Piece by piece.
piece by piece. There's now confirmation that that's going to be offered in the U.S. now.
Yeah, in the next few months. So yeah, they tweet. D'Agostini is, I think, it's an Italian company, but they're hugely based in the UK and Europe. And yeah, you rarely see these things in the States. I've seen quite a few of them in Australia. But yeah, I think we talked about this. The cost of it was going to be somewhere £2,500 British pounds, so
Yep.
$4,500. So it'll be interesting to see the price difference. Probably a little bit cheaper over here to build this. What was it? 1/12 scale? I can't remember the exact scale, but it was big. Put it that way, it was huge.
Yeah, it was kind of
BMX
weird
size.
how they advertised it because they said it was a 1-to-1 scale
Yeah.
to the prop. So
So,
depending on which prop you're looking at, it's kind of hard to judge scale overall. But yeah, it's still cool that they're going to be offering that here in the U.S. And if you follow D'Agostini on Twitter or the other social media channels, there are people that are submitting their progress with the kits that they've received so far, and you can kind of see the detail that goes into building this. I mean, it's very intricate. It's not, slapdash in any way. It's like you're actually building the Falcon from the cockpit, the seats, the controls, the walls, the floor, everything. It's really pretty interesting.
exactly, I agree.
Let's see.
Indeed.
Just announced also a couple days ago was that Funko is having their first, I think it's their first entry in the Hikari Sofubi line, which is like a Japanese Vinylmation
Yeah, it is like Vinylmation, yeah.
line of limited edition figures. Greedo is their first entry. They've had a ton of different figures. There are
Oh, God, yeah, yeah.
superheroes. I can't even describe on how many different licenses they have carried, but
Oh, sure. Masters of the Universe. They've got
yep,
Transformers, and the thing they tend to do is they build one mold, and you'll get, for example, I can think of Transformers, even Bumblebee. There's been a clear version, a silver version, a gold version, a lifelike version. It gets ridiculous. But the limited edition sizes of them, and we've seen the quantities of these Greedos, and some of the versions, like the grey one or the clear one or whatever it is, the silver one, are going to be limited to like 500 or 250 or 750. So this is the standardized one, which everybody's getting, or everyone has a chance to get, basically. And it's 2,000 in this run, so that's kind of cool looking. I like it.
yeah, I assume we'll get like a blaster damaged one,
Yeah, you could. That's true.
maybe as a upcoming convention exclusive or something.
Absolutely. They keep, yeah, they really do. They kind of milk these things a little bit. So there's a lot of variations and versions, but some people love the different versions. I mean, the Skeletor one came with, from Masters of the Universe, came with, I think there was like 7 different versions. It was just nuts.
Yeah,
So yeah.
Greedo's an interesting character to go with. I mean, you don't really think of him as a, you know, tier 1 kind of character that would offer up a lot of possibility for variants. If anything, Boba Fett, let's say, if that was their
Sure.
first one,
Oh, I'm sure
there's a dozen different variants you could do right there.
Yep, that's true.
So, but still, people that are Greedo focused collectors or, kind of wanting to get into this line, Greedo's an interesting and different character to start off with, so it's kind of cool.
He is, and he appears in our next story as well. So he is kind of popular.
Let's see what we have here.
So, on the ground.
We've got the computer consoles from Hole in the Ground Productions.
That's right. Sorry, I'm just looking at the Greedo picture we have here on screen.
Oh.
The tables and chairs picture. But yeah, he's where are we? The consoles.
Yeah, at the bottom, the coming soon there. Hole in the Ground Productions, who have done a ton of different customized, resin diorama type pieces, from different boxes and vehicles and consoles. They have a new one coming out. It's the computer console.
Hmm.
I think this looks kind of, I don't know, Hoth base maybe, or
I always would have thought that was the Han and Luke Stormy kind of control room.
could be.
I thought the bank of them. Maybe I'm wrong, but
This could be whatever you want.
could be. Yeah, exactly. It can be whatever you want it to be. You just got to paint it and decide and buy the different options. So embarrassingly, I still have not painted my one above there yet.
No, I've still got my little cubes over here of.
Yeah, me too. Good looking stuff though. It really
Yep.
is.
So if you're interested in expanding your dioramas, or just having little set pieces to go with your figures, you could check out Hole in the Ground Productions. We'll have a link in the show notes, or you can see the link on Yakface.com to take you right to the page. This was an awesome piece I had seen shared from the Dennet helmet. This was a custom that Dad had made for his kid for his
Gonk
like
droid.
7-year-old son. It's a Gonk droid, a Kenner style Gonk droid.
That's awesome. That really is amazing. It really looks good. So the
Fully
audio obviously.
wearable.
That's amazing. And it just looks exactly like the Kenner Palitoy toy. That's just up on the money.
It's
Beautiful.
it's
Very
hard to
cool.
believe that something like that can be done. I mean,
Well,
it's as simplistic as it looks.
it
It
works.
must have took a ton of effort to go into it, and then to have it look just so realistic, as compared to the toy. I mean, that shot that you're sharing there perfectly looks. You can't tell what scale that is. I mean, if you take the people out of the background,
Sure, of
that
course.
looks just like the Kenner
The Kenner toy. I know.
action figure.
It just shows you the creativity again, and for customizers, for cosplayers, for people. It is such a huge and important part of the fandom, which we often don't really get a chance to really appreciate. But it's yeah, that's amazing, and the time and energy spent on this thing as well. It's nuts. It really is such good work. So yeah, well done. Very slick.
In the last couple items here you had shared,
Yeah, just out and about on some travels. This was let me just share this on screen. So just even today, I just saw this. I don't need any more. I've got more than enough things. I'm making room for Hulkbuster and Force Awakens. I'm trying to be good. But damn, this was addictive little stuff. These are embossed tins for Valentine's. Unfortunately, not a very good looking picture there, but done in the shape of obviously a heart. And the Boba Fett and Darth are embossed and from the comics. And it's just a beautiful looking tin. It's only like $4 or something. But I can't remember the exact phrase that he mentions there, but it's straight to the heart, my Valentine, or something, or the force is with you, Valentine, or something, and it's full of lollipops. But there's a couple of other little daft things, but this was a nice looking mug, yet again using the original 1977-78 Star Wars comic art on another cardboard kind of heart-shaped thing, and a mug which just had that, again, that classic Marvel art, which again we're going to talk about in the acquisitions later on. It's something that keeps coming back as being quite a popular aspect, and I think one other thing there was, thinking of you when I saw this, was it's actually a tiny little toy, a little semi-articulated little Yoda, and
Right.
kind of candy lightsaber, but again on the outside of that tin, and you don't see too much of it there, but it's that comic art yet again from Marvel coming back, which was just interesting. Just all of this stuff just sitting there, this classic looking stuff from Marvel from 40 years ago adorning the shelves, so
Yeah,
very interesting.
I noticed those mugs, and I've been very tempted to pick them up because I think there are 3 different ones actually.
Oh, okay, didn't know.
Yeah, you have to look close, like if they're on the shelf, because like there's the heart that's in the top of the mug. All of that art is the same, but if you look closely at the graphics that wrap around the
Okay.
actual mug itself, it switches. Some have a more of a Yoda
Different
focus,
panels,
or
or
some have a
okay.
Vader focus, and some have a Boba Fett focus. So It's pretty cool. But some of these other things have been recycled from a couple past years here. Um, some of the tins. There are a couple different Vader embossed tins that have been making the rounds for a couple years now. But I think those white mugs are
Hmm.
new for this year. So
Oh, so those tins maybe you've seen before in the past?
yep.
Ah, I've never seen them. Never seen them. But yeah, I'm kind of addicted to that Marvel art at the moment. So it's yeah. Again, we'll talk about that in acquisitions. But yeah,
Next one, you had shared some fan art of Sabine
yeah,
from
I thought
Rebels.
this was beautiful. Just so by Twitter, our person Vagabond Artist. I just thought that was absolutely gorgeous. Just a quick little throw in there. Just beautiful looking detail and design. And yeah, we don't get enough time to talk about some of the artists out there, but just gorgeous. So beautiful stuff, and it was shared by Rebels Transmission or Rebels TK421. So very nice. Check out the art if you like that piece of Sabine's Rebels artwork.
Yeah, and if you're into Star Wars art at all, I encourage anyone to sign up for a Tumblr account
Yeah,
and hop on
definitely.
there and just search for Star Wars, hashtag or Star Wars Rebels or anything Star Wars related, and you'll get some amazing art that you
Gorgeous
don't
stuff.
see anywhere else.
Yeah, without a doubt. There's a lot of stuff on DeviantArt as well, but Tumblr, you're
Yep.
absolutely right. But just this one popped up in the Twitter feed, and yeah, worthwhile sharing.
Well, let's see. Moving on to TV, movie, book, and game news. Earlier this week, there was an article on Forbes that it had been discovered that the land speeder from A New Hope has been unlocked in the Disney Infinity game.
Okay, didn't know about that. So news to me too. There we go. Forbes, yeah, yeah, yeah. So, oh, we got a little video piece there, I think. There we
Yeah,
go.
basically, this was, if you unlock a certain, it kind of goes through the description in the article here on how to unlock it, but once you essentially level up all the characters that you have, you go to your toy box and you can now unlock a land speeder, which goes even further into kind of giving the indication that there's going to be a Star Wars version of this game
Which would make
to
perfect
come
sense.
next year. Because Marvel had theirs come out this year, or their Marvel version with the Disney Infinity 2.0, and I think the 3.0 is going to be more Star Wars geared, where we'll get actual Star Wars product that you could purchase, like the little figurines that interact with the game.
My credit card just screamed there quietly, and I muffled it and strangled it. Yeah, I mean that's going to be so many collectibles, and they're going to look gorgeous. The little ones. I've even got here just an example if people haven't seen some. That's just the Venom
Oh
from
yeah,
Marvel, and if they make some of these for Star Wars, and then there's all the different variations and versions. Regular Chewie with 3PO in the back, and Force Awakens, Clone Wars. I mean, what a license and depth they've got for that. So
yeah. You'll get
wow,
you'll get holographic versions of certain
sure.
characters, and you'll get just. I like they're very just the style is is obviously it's animated.
Hmm.
It's kind of maquette like,
Yes, it
like
is.
how the Gentle Giant stuff has been. Um, so
And low cost if you're not completely crazy like probably some of us are and going to
right.
collect them all. So yeah, Swan time, I think.
What else this week was the our friends at Star Wars Action News had issued a podcast this week, looking back essentially at 20 years of modern figures. This year being 2015, the modern line, the modern quote unquote era of Star Wars collecting kind of kicked off again back in 1995, and they did a nice kind of flashback version of their podcast, going back, covering the first figures to come out in that new line for 1995, going back to the orange carded figures, which us older collectors completely remember trying to find and Some of them being harder to find than others, and some of us spending ridiculous amounts of money on a completely, frankly, horseshit figure.
Which nobody wants now, really. Everyone wants to give them away, I
Yeah.
think.
But this was where it was back 20 years ago, and it's really hard to believe that this was 20 years ago.
It's hilarious to listen to Marjorie and Arnie going back and capturing that moment from 1985. I've listened to all the Star Wars Action News over the years, and I've just completely forgotten about this one. But what is also hilarious is when they talk about not only the chesty, huge, bulky figures, but the fact that I think Marjorie at one point says, I mean, think of the world we're living in today. We get 4 hours a day on the internet. Which is just, what a great little soundbite there alone, and Arnie's talking about the price of the figures being, these figures are going up to a completely huge price of $4.99. So it's really good historical episode and beautiful imagery. They've remastered it. It's great fun. It's a really good blast from the past.
Yeah, there's a lot of tongue in cheek in that episode, and it's really good. So if you want to either feel old or just kind of walk down memory lane, give that episode a listen or watch. It's really pretty good. Let's see, we got confirmation earlier this week that Yakface.com is now an official supporter of Star Wars Celebration.
Yay!
That doesn't mean as much as it sounds like, to be honest. It just means that we're supportive of the whole event. We're gonna keep distributing information out there as far as announcements for guests and programming and whatnot. So yeah, it's fun. We're added there with several other sites out there. Flyguy again.
Wow, they're awesome.
The Wolfpack.
They're awesome too. But,
no, Jedi News, Sand Troopers,
cool.
Yoda's News, just a bunch of different sites that are out there. And again, there's nothing to be gained by us for any of this. This is just going to support what Star Wars Celebration is, a support of Star Wars in general and the fandom, and we're just on board with kind of spreading the news when that happens. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's good to be part of it, and I think they're giving us a contract to basically make sure that we're going to stick to our goods. We're not going to distribute porn. We're going to deliver good Star Wars news.
That's part of it.
That's part of it. I think so. But it's nice that all these sites will be there, and all these sites will be contributing news in some way as well. So it's nice to see familiar faces.
Right. Let's see. Also this week, Star Wars Battlefront, some concept art was released. It seems like I've seen this before, but I don't know. Something was released by the website IGN, which showed some. It seems like this game has been talked about forever and ever.
Yep. And
we're still seeing new bits and pieces from it.
Yeah, we've seen little clips. Obviously, that trailer. Yeah, there's the E3 trailer of the biker scout kind of sequence. So I haven't had a chance to look at all this, but that looks to be only one single picture.
Yeah.
So okay, that's a big article for one single picture. But,
yeah.
Okay. So well, fair enough. It's something new. So
it's a nice picture, but you're not going to see it in the game.
No, I know. It seems to be taking an awful long time with this game. It's don't get me wrong, games as we know take a long time, but wow.
Yeah.
Battlefront 2 was a good 10 years ago?
It seems like it. I'd have to look.
Anyway.
Speaking of games, we had talked about this, I think, a few weeks back. This was the Star Wars Battle Pod arcade game. This is essentially, if you remember, the sit-down version of Star Wars when you were a kid. This is now like the super adrenalized version of that, where you're sitting in it, and it's like a wraparound, IMAX screen almost.
That's right.
There's now a trailer for that, showing gameplay and how the whole setup works. It's really pretty
Yeah.
pretty involved.
I don't know whether this one here, this was shared by StarWars.com. There's another trailer I managed to get hold of from Disney in Japan, and it talks about this Vader's Revenge, and I was not being really that serious when I just said whether, could this be canon now? Almost a joke to this whole new world that we're in, but some people thought I was being serious because Han Solo dies in this sequence, but yeah, it's just a game. But well, the trailer's kind of spoiled it for you. There you go. There's a little clip there of the Vader's Revenge sequence they showed and focused on. So basically, after the Death Star blows up, there's a whole other little level, and the rebels are apparently after the what's remains of the Death Star pieces there. But interesting little bits and pieces. So I don't know about you, but there's an arcade near me that has this about 40 minutes away.
Are you kidding?
No.
Oh,
I'm going. I'm going as soon as I can. I saw your tweet today about Stephen Stanton. He was about to go and play it. So
yeah, he was going. There's a an arcade chain, arcade restaurant chain called Dave and Buster's.
That's the one near me. Yeah.
That's the one he was shown at, and I have a Dave and Buster's really close to me, like within a few miles. So I'm thinking they may get one. And if they do, I have to go play it. It's one of the places that my friends at Jedi Defender, we get together for our monthly meetings. We make it to Dave and Buster's every now and then. So that's gonna have to be a Star Wars meeting for sure if they have that game there.
Yeah, for sure. That's as I'm saying, it's kind of weird. I mean, I believed at one point, and I thought it would have made sense. There's a bit of liberty they can take, but all games were going to be a little bit more in canon. All books were going to be in canon. That's what I thought we were going to get, but obviously there's a creative license in this case for Battlepod. But interesting.
Let's see.
More games.
That website we talked about last week, GOG.com. They released even more games this week. These were games. I'm trying to think. It was Jedi Knight, which is Dark Forces 2, Republic Commando, and Starfighter.
Oh, there we go. We can see some of the. Yep, Jedi Knight, Dark Forces 2. Excellent. They were some great games.
Yeah, I totally remember those from the 90s and early 2000s, I think.
Republic Commando, what a classic. That's a great game. With Tamura Morrison voicing all the clones, which doesn't actually get confusing if you remember it, but yeah, Republic Commando Squad. That's fantastic. It's good to get these things. I thought they were long forgotten. That was an Xbox exclusive, if I remember rightly, or PC and Xbox. That's excellent. Good.
Pretty cool. I know a lot of people are into those old school games, and let's see what else. Marvel Star Wars #2 preview. This was the website Comic Book Resources had issued a preview of what's to come. Obviously the first episode or first issue had the 100 variant covers for it, leading into now issue #2, and there was question about how it ended as far as the issue #1, because it has Luke going up against Darth Vader, which happens before Empire Strikes Back. That's obviously now officially canon.
Yeah.
So in the preview, if you click on some of those images in the preview there, it shows that they're actually fighting. So this happens before The Empire Strikes Back. So they've actually dueled prior to what we see on film now.
Well, it is, and again, talking about canon, who are you?
Right.
You can't sense them in the Force. You can't determine this. You can sense you've got a sister, but I don't know. Yeah, that seems a little bit too convenient, I think.
It's interesting as far as what it now means.
Yeah, and it's surprising that they've spoiled some of this little reveal here. We should have said spoilers, but You know, they're giving the whole thing away. um, yeah, so be it. So he's got two lightsabers, and then what? We'll have to find out, I guess.
Yep.
So,
So that,
got to get this cover.
yep. Issue number 2 comes out in February, so people will be picking that up. I'm not sure how many variants they've got slatted for that one, but it's probably 50. Probably.
Well, I haven't seen many. I haven't seen many at all. So I don't know about you, but I have a hard time with a local comic shop here trying to get them to order things, or they just
Oh,
customer
really?
service. They kind of grunt and just kind of so they're too busy reading comics. So I'll have to hunt these down. These other kind of versions here, but yeah, looks good though.
Yeah,
Dying to
very
read the rest
much.
of it.
Let's see, last couple things. MakingStarWars.net had posted some descriptions for hero costumes for Episode 7, The Force Awakens, going into some detail on what Leia's outfit may look like, as well as Chewbacca. Not a whole lot different than what he currently wears, other than his bandolier, and Han Solo. So.
Excellent. The slideshow is kind of heavy JavaScript thing for some reason. I don't know why. It's taking a little minute to. There we go. It loads.
Some older pictures
So,
they're sharing from some publicity stuff from back in the day.
yep.
But yeah, if you're interested in what may be on screen, in 11 months from now,
Mm,
you can read that article and check it out.
very good.
And speaking of leaks and
Yeah, this is interesting.
stuff, apparently Lucasfilm has issued a subpoena to a certain, well, I guess it's Image Shack, and one of
That's
its
right.
users that leaked the first, kind of reveal of Kylo Ren, which is the cross-guard lightsaber wielder that we have seen.
Yep. Which it seems rather weird to begin to do this. So that the person's name was Darth_Simi, but given the multitude of sites out there,
Yeah, I don't know how you keep
too
something
late?
like that.
So,
How do you enforce that?
and by suing it, are you just not confirming and just making everyone then go and share that thing? So, or
Right.
get hold of it? So, anyway,
Yeah, you don't know if this is like a scare tactic for future leakers out there, or
doesn't seem to be stopping many people. That's for sure.
no.
So,
I mean, once it's out there, it's out there.
exactly. It's kind of
So.
hard to rein it in.
Let's see. That brings us to the reviews for the week. I had none because I'm been super busy, but you had a decent one this week. I had
Sure.
give it a look.
Yeah, just finally get my chance to get a look at the stuff, catching up on a lot of Sideshow stuff, but the 104th Clone Trooper Wolfpack Battalion I put up for review this week. We'll probably get an ad in front of this, but it's there. And great looking figure. Really loving this design on this. So unfortunately, it's not bacon here that we're sharing on screen. We can't skip this ad. Oh, YouTube, we love you. But usual standard stuff from Sideshow. The 12-inch figure is just gorgeous. Same kind of build and stuff, but it's beautifully done with that. The weathering is just getting better and better all the time. I love the way they're doing it. Let's see if we can get that a little better. So yes, that's me talking about myself and the figure. But great accessories. Comes with a really cool little backpack, which the other clones have had. Some very nice person that I know helped me get that very cool exclusive Wolfpack little stand too, which is really nice. And it comes with a jetpack, magnetic jetpack, which I love. So
Yeah, that magnetic deal is pretty decent.
yeah. So it's a good looking figure, very cool. Again, love the weathering. They have really improved massively Sideshow over the last few years with their clones. So loving it. So yeah, good cool figure.
Yeah, and I think the Captain Rex that's out now includes that
That's right.
same style jetpack magnetic.
That's right. Very cool indeed.
So you could check that out on either of our channels. I it shows up in my channel since I've liked the video. You go to flyguy.net and go to the YouTube page and check it out there. Um, New toy acquisitions and purchases for this week. Let's start with you.
So for me, okay. So non-Star Wars out the way, just got a big pile of these to review, courtesy of Hasbro Distribution. So we're going to look at these, all the new Marvel Legends on our Tech channel and DorksideToys. So very cool. Love the Marvel Legends. Star Wars. In fact, well, more of the non-Star Wars. You a Zelda Nintendo fan? I don't know. Saw this and I had to get this gorgeous little link from the Wind Waker Nintendo game figure, and again I'll do a review of that, but just beautiful. I love Nintendo classic kind of stuff, which I'll review and have a look at. But the real Star Wars thing I got this week was comics.
Wow.
And that was me talking about all the classic Marvel comic art. So a good friend of mine who runs a store, KE Toys, will put a link in the show notes there, who principally kind of Dungeons and Dragons and comics, that kind of stuff principally, but some gorgeous comics on this site, really, really nice, and gave me all of these, but just beautiful to get this artwork. They're all bagged and boarded, beautiful quality.
Those are nice.
They are. I just love the artwork. I'm suckered into it. Jackson, no. But it does go back to the original first few episodes there. I just love the whole kind of details on that, and right up to, so I don't have number one, so I have to get a decent copy of number one, but love the artwork. It's just absolutely gorgeous. And the really crazy 1970s art by Stan Lee and all those guys. Love that number 3 there version. And that one, swing that lightsaber, Ben, or we're all dead. So it's some really just, or we're finished, just insanely cool Marvel art. So yes, I'm now officially going into comics. So my poor wife, she's going to kill me. But that's me for the week.
Me was very, very light. Like I mentioned earlier, I picked up that Vinylmation Luke Farm Boy from our friend Kevin. Otherwise, that is it.
Whoa. Okay.
It's been. I haven't had time to shop, I guess. I mean, it's not like I wouldn't have bought anything if something was available. I've been on the lookout for those Mission Series Wave 2 packs. Haven't seen them. Even my brother-in-law, who lives in Philadelphia or in Pennsylvania, texted me. I think it was yesterday, the day before. He's like, "Oh, I got these." I'm like, God, damn it! So everyone's finding them. I'm not quite yet, and I don't know.
You're seeing everywhere, but again, I'm seeing the same thing as well. And I think a lot of even offline and online, everything's going to happen mid-Feb. And literally, by Valentine's Day, the love will be flowing for Star Wars. It will be everywhere. So it's coming. It's definitely coming.
So I think that is this week's show. Again, we will be back next week with any of the latest news that have come out. We're getting closer and closer to Toy Fair, so they'll be bound to have more announcements soon. We'd like to thank everyone for watching and listening and sharing, and we will see you all next week. Have a good one.
See you later.